Hello, my children. When you're looking for someone to bust demons, haints, Bigfoot, dogmen, and everything in between, there's only two men to call.
Well, I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision. Let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel
When I was 16, I won a great victory. I felt in that moment I would live to be 100. Now I know I shall not see 30. None of us know our end, really, or what hand will guide us there. A king may move a man. A father may claim a son. That man can also move himself. Your soul is in your keeping alone. When you stand before God, you cannot say, "But I was told by others to do thus," or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Remember that.
Lord, hear my prayer. I swear I will make these pagans pay for their cruelty. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Let the wrath of God fall upon these heathens who desecrate the holy places of our land. Let them suffer at our hands. Let us rejoice in their ruin and drive them back into the sea from whence they came. Christ is here.
Road Trent Rez is a musical genius. Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Show. I'm your host, D. Doss. As always, I'm joined by my brother in arms, the Red Pill Preacher, Dr. David Roach, and a very special guest from the Molly Sleuth channel on Rumble as well as YouTube, the lovely Molly Sleuth.
Hi, friends.
What's up, Molly? Welcome. Howdy.
Not a lot. Not a lot. I would keep texting Randy, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, well, forget Randy. Oh, yeah, Randy Agard, who was a frequent guest and friend of the channel, was supposed to be on tonight, but he decided to bail on us, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently he had something else better to do.
No.
Sure he did.
He just sometimes gets a little bit, we've been best friends for many years. Sometimes he's just gets a little introverted.
Oh, well, I just got a text that said, damn DDoS and the supernatural truth. That's what he said. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what he said.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. Anyways, Molly, we've been, well, we're going to loosen up a little bit because we've been hitting some really, really deep, dark stuff with all this Epstein list and all that. And I wanted you to come on especially. So, folks, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, the link is in the description box below. Go check out the first episode because Molly and I prophesied exactly what just took place with Ghislaine. As Molly, do you want to give them your background? Let them know, like.
Yeah. So I was a teenage punk rock piece of garbage for many years in the hellhole of Los Angeles. And then I became a detective for the city of Los Angeles. And then I was an LAPD detective. So I have filed thousands of cases of felonies of all kinds of matters. left there working major assault crimes, but I was there undercover for a year. I worked hardcore gangs. I taught interview, interrogation, body language, and lie detection. And I was kind of just over the crime, taxes, and despair of California. So now I live in the Midwest, and I'm a firefighter here, and just bought a house, and I live a very boring life. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it.
Outstanding. Right on. A real life superhero, folks. Not only a homicide detective fighting gangs and teaching how to fight them, but now a firefighter. Saving lives on many fronts. Much respect. So, Molly, did you get a chance to look at the whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing? Because what we talked about did come to pass. They moved her to a, what would you call it, a minimal facility, minimal security facility.
You know, summer camp, whatever. I've heard it called a few things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that can go a lot of ways. So, unfortunately, once they are past my level, what they decide to do with them from there is really up to the new system that they enter into. And unfortunately, there's like what people do, what gets reported, what I can file charges on, what gets filed on, what goes to court, what gets convicted, what they're sentenced, and then what they actually serve. And that is with every step, with every crime. And so you've got people doing this and getting busted for that. And so it's really no wonder that we've just become this like hellscape.
Right.
But when it comes to jail and stuff, that's above my pay grade. But, you know, there are a lot of perks and there are different places. I know some of the gangsters that I worked with said that no problem, they would do any time in California, that it wasn't a big deal. But once they got sent to Maricopa County under Sheriff Joe Arpaio, they said, that's it. Like I don't want to go back there. But yeah. California is a joke, and I'm sure there are other places as well. And California was doing all kinds of stuff once it came to that kinder, gentler Prop 47, Prop 57, AB 109 that just absolutely decimated California with crime. They were sending money for yoga classes and meditation suites and stuff in California. If you want to get a boob job or a sex change, like we pay for that, the taxpayers do. Like it's just gotten out of control. So it's possible that she's in some like cushy place, but understand that whole building exists. That whole infrastructure was already made. And there are other felons that have done whatever, whether it's, you know, robbing a bank or killing people or whatever, that are also being sent to this place. And I think we need to make punishment a deterrent again, because this whole kind of gentler isn't really working out for us.
Right. I agree with you. I don't know how, and I've heard people call it that too. I don't know how kind and gentle it is. You're still locked up, and the minimal security facility just means there's not as much, there's not as stringent, like, what would you call it? Security, basically. There's a little bit more relaxed atmosphere, a little bit more freedom that they could have. But she's still locked up. But they had to bring her to a minimal security because what she was initially arrested and charged with, if this Epstein list is going the way that it's going, those charges were dropped down, right? Like, and that's pretty much what we were saying.
Well, so they're not going to drop the charges, but she can get her sentence reconfigured. And you can always claim some kind of hardship or due to some new medical condition. I need to be closer to my family. There's a lot that you can do. In fact, like the big scam right now, has been for a decade, is like, I only eat kosher, because they don't want to eat the like green burritos and like lame ham sandwiches that were made 3 weeks ago. So they claim kosher to get like really nice, fresh food in prison. So there's always like workarounds to sort of make it cushier for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when Epstein was in his cell, he had like 7,000 blankets with him. Like that didn't need to be like, that shouldn't
Yeah, he's
happen.
the princess in the pea. No, it shouldn't happen at all.
Yeah, so
it's a weird situation, given the in my opinion, and I think most people listening will agree, given the fact that there's a lot of folks of great importance that are attached to this supposed Epstein list that doesn't exist, and it's so much controversy surrounding it. I'm really sick of it. I wish that, like, justice would actually be done, but it's going to be a sideshow for a while, I think.
Well, so all prosecutions are very tricky, and we can get into that if you want, but
Sure.
There's what we know and what we can prove in court, and they're not always the same. So the problem that you have with prosecution a lot of times is what we call VRP, or victim refuses to prosecute. If your victim is dead, refuses to testify, whatever, or says, I just want him to learn a lesson. That's it. Like, he learned his lesson. We're done here. Like, you really can't take that to court. One prosecutor told me, the district attorney for the city of Los Angeles said, if I can't see 12 jurors with tears in their eyes, we're not filing. And so something like this, where you've got potential, I'll say alleged, potential highfalutin people that are already looked up to for whatever stupid reason. And then you have these women that are nobodies that are going to sit there and go, and this is what happened to me. And also, that's when I saw the aliens, and like, oh shit. It's like, it doesn't mean that she's not a victim, but it doesn't play very well to a jury. And until these district attorneys stop getting graded, not for their efficacy, but their conviction rate. So the conviction rate means that they're only filing charges on things that they know they can get a conviction on. In other words, I steal your car, but we kind of know each other and you let me borrow it once. So is it really a crime? Yeah, but we used to date and you said, fuck you, you can't have my car anymore, and I stole it anyway. Yeah, but they used to know each other. She got, so if there's any sort of shade of gray, or your victim is a little bit weird, or maybe they're mentally incompetent to testify in some way.
Why waste the resources on that?
Right, or they're a criminal. And the district attorney for LA literally told me on one case that I tried to file that there were no humans involved.
What? Then if there's what crime was?
It was, I believe it was a gang member that robbed a prostitute, is I believe the case. It's been years, but I very much
that's crazy. And they said there was no humans.
No humans involved. So,
well, hell.
What do you do with that? So it's like, if we know about this list, so it gets tricky because, you got people like, I think they said Adam Schiff went to the island like 78 times. And I don't know how many times you can walk into a restaurant before you realize they serve food, but okay. So he goes to the island 78 times. Let's just look at Adam Schiff. Not that I know anything about him at all, but if he went there 78 times, and let's say you've got manifests that 77 times a little girl was on the plane with him, and let's say that he tweeted afterwards, had the best weekend ever, it still doesn't prove the crime occurred. Even if that little girl, who's now, a woman, says this is what happened, there's no evidence to that anymore. And I think the thing that pisses me off the most is that initially they said that there were all these videotapes and all this evidence, and now they say that there are none.
Yeah.
Well, both can't be true. So which time were you lying? And that is a crime. If you said there was evidence and there wasn't, that needs to be prosecuted. Or if there was evidence and now there isn't, that is a crime that needs to be prosecuted. And so maybe
needs to be investigated.
Isn't looking at the prince and the movie star and the politician. Maybe the crime is this internal structure that has been like hiding, and oopsie, that those DVDs are gone, and like all of that. And I'm okay with that kind of prosecution. If there are dirty cops, they need out, and we need to wipe the slate, and we need to stop with this fixed system that only prosecutes if you're like this perfect victim. Stuff happens. Bad stuff happens to bad people too, and it doesn't mean that they're not a victim. So
yeah, it doesn't mean that they don't deserve justice.
Yes, and unfortunately, at least in terms of the city of Los Angeles, and I was briefly a cop here in Michigan, and I didn't like the way that they dealt with people, so I quit. But the system is very biased, and that does need to end.
Yeah, but I don't think it will. It's just one of those things we got to deal with, you know.
Well, I think that it's incumbent upon people like us and just talking about it everywhere endlessly until something happens. Like if, you know, you and I talked on my show about like how incensed I was. You guys are still talking about him. Like nothing could possibly piss me off more than that.
That was disgusting.
Really disgusting. I agree. So, because these girls are still talking about it, it has changed them. Part of them has been killed for the rest of their life. And so you can't just go, that's such old news. But look what I'm doing at the border. Like, we don't give a shit. We're not letting up on this. We really need to not let them go and hold them to do something about it, which is what we voted for him. I voted for him. I voted for him 3 times. And I'm getting real black pilled right now that everything we were promised, you know, no wars in America first. And we're going to get down to the bottom of this disgusting child abuse situation has all really gone to shit in the last couple of weeks. So not very happy.
Yeah. And a lot of people who have the power of independent thought aren't happy, you know. All this trust the plan stuff, Dave and I were talking about that earlier. That's madness. You know what I mean? How much more do people need to see? It's right out front and center. And we look at things on the world stage as well. So all this aid still going to Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu visiting, what was it, 3 times in 60 some odd days, bro? Yeah, so
100 days.
Yeah, 100 days. So, I mean, it's obviously there's some glad handing going on in that sense. And a lot of people are noticing that and getting tired of that as well. But I believe it's all connected in some way. When you look at Epstein, and we talked about this on your show, his connections to these intelligence agencies and being a financier of all these billionaires and whatnot, there's a lot of clandestine shit going on, you know? So... And I can't prove it. It's just a theory. But I really do think that, and Dave sent me a video the other day. I have to shoot it to you. Say there were so many people on that list that were crucial in points of government. Not even just people that we see on TV. Like small, they said that even university professors had visited that island and whatnot. What if there were so many people compromised on that island that the entire world would be set ablaze? Everybody, I mean, it would be another French Revolution.
Light it up.
That's what
I don't care.
See, bro,
she
deserves to be in our tribe. That's what we've been saying for weeks. Let's make it happen.
But so what are you saying is like, oh, well, I mean, so many people are murdering. Like, are we really going to do anything about it? Like, yeah, we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to start somewhere. And maybe you don't catch every murderer, but that doesn't mean that you don't go after those criminals. It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't do anything at all.
Yeah. Oh, the problem is just so big that, like, I mean, what are we going to do? Like,
yeah, we can't handle it. Yeah, it's too much for us. And we
I mean, we pay a lot of taxes to Big Daddy to, you know, protect us and all this stuff. And it's like, if you're saying that you don't have money, but we just did all that Doge stuff and we found like a lot of money
trillions
going towards bullshit. And these are kids, human lives. And so I don't really care about your gender studies and your condoms for Kenya or whatever the hell is going on in this world. These are kids that are getting things that we can't say on YouTube. And so there's
no excuse.
I was trying to find, I don't know if I can find it, but I read someplace that the Obamas just sold their compound, Martha's Vineyard compound.
Really?
Let's see. I don't know. I send so many bullshit things to everybody. I don't know that I can find it right now.
That's all good. That's let's see if I can check it out. What do you think, Red Pill? You've been awful doggone quiet.
I'm just enjoying the banter back and forth between you two. I'll tell you, you unpacked quite a bit there in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't have a justice system. We have a legal system, and there's a differentiation. Justice, just because something's legal doesn't make it just. And our governments, unfortunately, have weaponized our legal system against the citizenry for far too long. Since time immemorial, it's been done. As far as Molly's point with that district attorney in Los Angeles, we run across that everywhere. You see, if you can't get the crying jurors, we're not bringing it to trial. Well, in jury selection, these people will have change of venue requests put in to get a more favorable jury for the perpetrator.
Yeah.
And somebody who's sat on the bench for a while.
But you also have to look at juries because nobody wants to be there. I have served on a civil jury long before I was a police officer, and it's like, you want to hang them or let them go? I don't really care. I got to get back to work. Like, nobody's there to be 12 angry men. Let's just get our civic duty done and get done with this, right? And so I don't know what the answer to that is. Like, obviously, we have a work ethic problem. And also, most people, like in my tax bracket, like, we aren't paid to go to jury duty. So whatever you say, I'll go along with it. Let's just get out of here. I do think that there's so many attorneys that I know that if you want to be like a hairdresser, you have to do a certain amount of hours before you can get a beautician's license. Why don't we have these attorneys? They're already educated. They want to be in the courtroom. They want to be a part of this whole thing. Why don't you make them serve a certain amount of hours per year? But I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you have the whole thing of being a jury of your peers.
Yeah, right? Jury of your peers. What constitutes a peer?
Right. The average juror is not my peer.
Yeah, no doubt. I got called up when I was in Pennsylvania, and I just put in the little box beneath it, like I'm extremely racist, and I will not judge favorably for anybody who's my ethnicity or not my ethnicity. And they never heard anything back.
Oh, that's funny. I had a friend who was a substitute teacher, so he, like clockwork, would get subpoenaed to go in or called to jury service. And first of all, he just was a very unattractive person. And so he would just make this face like the dumbest person on earth and would go, well, he must have did it. He's here, right? And then if that didn't work, he would say, well, my pa and my grandpa, they were both psychic. And so I know I could just look at someone and know whether or not they did it. And so I don't even need any evidence. So I'm ready to share my findings with the jury. And they would just be like, get the fuck out of here.
That's hilarious.
So it's Les Wexner.
I'll tell you what.
Les Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret.
That's who bought Obama's, joint over there in Martha's Vineyard.
Yep.
37 million bananas it sold for.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm sure he supplied Big Mike with her lingerie too.
And so Epstein managed Les Wexner's finances, so it's all just a big circle jerk.
Paid him $170 million to do his taxes.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. Gave him full power of attorney, by the way. Les Wexner gave Jeffrey Epstein full power of attorney over his finances.
Yeah.
That's madness.
The craziest thing that nobody really talks about is that Jeffrey Epstein's accounts were still active up until a couple of years ago?
Oh no, they're still active right now.
Are you shitting me? Money going in?
4,000 current transactions within the past 3 months.
But that can happen though, because if you are,
Sure can.
you have your accounts and you've got whoever your next of kin and it's going through probate and you're still getting residuals off of some job, or you've got, proceeds coming from shares on something. I mean, that can happen.
Well, let's do the math on that. 4,000 transactions, though. I mean,
We've already done the math. Remember, brother, the other night? It was $230,000 an average transaction.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I don't know, but if I was guilty of some shit, I'm not going to be sending a ghost a wire transfer because there's no point at that point. So.
That's true.
I don't know.
That just shows you there's other people in charge of his finances, and the shell game hasn't stopped just because he's dead.
No,
Or on the beach
not at all.
somewhere, wherever the hell he's at. The shell game hasn't stopped. You see, the machine is still running. It's just another cog.
Bro, I think it's like Hydra.
This child trafficking, are we to believe that it's just miraculously stopped because this pervert supposedly hung himself in a suicide cell? Are we to believe that stopped?
Yeah, don't count the cartels. They don't count the cartels coming up from South America that are doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. So, yeah. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's
It
raining.
might be unpopular, but I do think that he killed himself.
Just don't. I
That's
just don't
okay. I
see it.
mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, it's
Sure.
the one scenario where he killed himself, and this is the only way it makes sense to me, is he was never the big dog. It was always Ghislaine Maxwell. She was the one procuring these girls.
Also, you have somebody, just the psychology of somebody that is that much of an egomaniac. So people that are very narcissistic in that way want to write their own story. And as an interrogator, I need to know what kind of person you are, because the vast majority of people are emotional offenders. Even though you robbed a stranger on the street corner or you did whatever, like, you feel bad about it. And that's my in to work on that level of anxiety about that guilt complex that a lot of us have. And it starts when we're very little kids. And that's the button that I'm using to leverage this conversation. But if you have somebody that has that kind of narcissism, sociopathy, also teenagers, and there's a particular culture that exists in Hollywood that does not feel that guilt complex. They are image management. And so you have a totally different style to go against that person in interrogation than the vast majority of everybody else, which you're saying, like, I know that you only, hit the lady because you just wanted her to stop yelling. You didn't want to go back to jail. Everybody understands that. People understand when you make a mistake, but they don't understand the liar. And if you're going to tell me that you weren't there, I'm going to prove that you were there. And then we're going to have a problem. People are going to be making a decision about you, and that's not up to me. But when you're talking to somebody that's more image management driven, first of all, you speak a lot faster. And it's all about evidence. Boom, 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 boom. And the thing that causes those people to break and confess is you want to write your own story, right? Like, people are going to make a decision about you. And so I'll write your story. You're going to tell me that you weren't there. Like, I'm going to say that you were, because I have evidence, and we have video, and we have witnesses, and we have DNA, and we have fingerprints at the scene, and we have this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to prove that you did it. But now, if you want to, you can tell us your story about how, like, you only did it because of blah, blah, blah. And so
Right.
they are
Let me ask you this.
teenagers.
Have you ever seen, I didn't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, but have you ever seen his deposition video?
Yeah.
That dude was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
The
and
whole
so
time, like,
somebody like that, when you put them in prison and you strip them away of all of that cool factor, because you got to understand, even gang members, when they go to prison, at least in California, I get to be with my gang, you get to be with your gang, because God forbid we have to make new friends. That's going to be very awkward, and I don't like to be around people I don't like. So they segregate the prison system, and it's mostly just for the ease of we don't need fights and whatever. But so in prison, I am still cool. I still have my like facade up. But this guy wasn't a gangster. This guy is a hobnobber with the rich and famous. And they throw him in a cell, and he has to eat the green burritos and the old ham sandwiches, just like everybody else. And it does something to you. Then I would also say, because they put him in the cell with that dirty cop that was convicted of killing like 4 people. So a dirty cop, one, I think they maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but they know how to maybe manipulate people a little bit better. And like even a dirty cop has that right and wrong. And I don't know if you've looked into him, but he had a problem with a guy who was like a Alex Jones type. Like he was an early sort of broadcaster type guy. And he kept pulling him over and like beating him up. And this guy was just like, you're out of control. And that guy ended up dying through no fault of the cops. But then like he kept saying, this cop is totally out of control. This cop is really like violent and all this stuff. And then lo and behold, that cop went and killed 4 people. But at any rate, so you've got somebody that has sort of a hero complex because they're a cop, and yet they're all obviously a dirty cop. They're like, you know, doing stuff. And I wouldn't put it past a dirty cop sitting in a prison cell, because they both have to be segregated, which is why they got put together, because you can't put somebody that's a police officer or a kitty toucher into general population. And so, I mean, if it was me, I'd be like, you know what's going to happen to you, right? This is going to be the worst thing ever. You might as well do it now. You know your arraignment's coming. Then they're probably going to throw you into Gen Pop. I heard him say blah, blah, blah. Like, you could just get into his head and, hey, you know, I know you can't have a weapon here, but they can't tell you that you aren't cold. And if you got 17,000 blankets, you might be able to do something with that. Gotta go. Like, and so maybe that cop wasn't in the cell when it happened, but he could have filled his ear full of a whole lot of stuff. And people that are that narcissistic, they do want to determine, not just write their story and image management, but when I
that's assuming that's all he was, though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, so he knows. So, and that's the big question. Is like, maybe other people are still trying to figure out who you are, but you know who you are, and you don't know.
I think Jeffrey Epstein was a little bit more than a financier, though. That's my. If you look at the people that surrounded him in his inner circle, you know what I mean. They were all like,
for sure,
intelligence agency cats.
But this is like, you know, the classic traffic stop. I pull you over because of a taillight, and you're like, oh shit, she knows about my Texan murder spree. And so that's why people talk to me. I mean, as somebody who's being accused of a crime, I couldn't explain why they talk to the police, but they do. They talk to me. And a lot of it, I believe, is because they're trying to figure out like which crime they're here for. Because the vast majority of stuff like people get away with. You know, if you got food poisoning every time you ate pizza, you wouldn't eat pizza anymore. So So I do think that there was a little bit of that. He knows who he is. And he doesn't know what kind of evidence that they have against him and how deep this is going to go. And if the list is out, well, I also think, though, saying that there's no list is the same thing as releasing the list. That now all of that blackmail, all of that work that you've done, whether it's the CIA or Mossad or whoever, all of that work that you've compiled is now totally neutered. Like, they can't use it anymore because you're saying there's no evidence. So now how are you going to go blackmail some politician, some movie star, some whatever, because they already said that there wasn't. And then if I was the movie star, I would be like, well, that must be AI, because remember they said there was no evidence, and that makes Trump look bad, and Trump has a huge ego. So I don't think that he would allow that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it made him look bad when they brought out those 2 giant folders full of so-called evidence, and the woman was caught in the public talking about. You know what I mean? Like they're going to do a revisionist history about that. Nobody's really talking about it, but yeah, like they had a whole weird UFC type press conference for it.
The optics of this are really bad.
Crazy. I can't imagine having a binder.
Yeah.
I mean, I have filed multi-jurisdictional warrants. I filed cases for multi-jurisdictional crimes. I can't imagine like releasing a binder to the news, to anyone, much less like influencers on the internet. Like that was just the wildest roller coaster.
All that was for image, like you said. Just so they could, she probably did that on purpose just so they can get, like you were sitting in an interview telling somebody, you need to get ahead of this thing, right? I know you've had these conversations. We used to have them interviewing dope dealers all the time. You probably need to get ahead of this. I know you didn't mean to be on that playground slinging this dope to them. I know it was meant for Joe Schmuckatelli down the street. But the fact is that ended up in their pocket, and it's going to come back to you. So you might want to explain your side of the story. They were getting out ahead of this thing from the beginning. We saw in Trump's interview when he was asked 3 things. Will you declassify the Martin Luther King files? Yes. No question, no hesitation.
No hesitation whatsoever.
Declassify the 9/11 file? Yes. No. John F. Kennedy? Yes. Epstein?
That one's a little bit more difficult. Man. And he said something real. He said something real pertinent in that, bro. He said, some of those could be fake names. We have to figure out what's fake and what's not. Do you remember that?
We don't want people to be hurt unnecessarily for wrongdoing.
Yep. That was him getting out ahead of it way back then.
Because even though Adam Schiff might have been there 78 times, maybe he just liked to watch. So what do you prosecute then? Now you need to prosecute the person that did. And then where's that girl? And I don't know, she had red hair. And so it does become a quagmire, but I think you have to prosecute somebody. Like you can't just all of a sudden shrug. Otherwise, I think everybody needs to be fired and start over.
That's what we need. We need a hard reset.
Yes. Do you remember the 2008 housing crisis? I'm sure everybody does. Where the banks failed, like JP Morgan and all those. This is a very similar situation. Those banks were bailed out because if they went down, everybody did. Mm-hmm. It's the same situation with the Epstein files. If they come out, everybody or enough people are implicated to cause a seismic shift politically, civilly, economically, because we're not just talking about politicians. You're talking about tech oligarchs. You're talking about media moguls. You're talking about politicians.
People in the royal family, bro.
Countries. Yeah, multiple countries. We're all going to this island, male and female, dipping their wick, messing with these little kids. Yeah. And they're all involved. So you'd have mass chaos, which is, for real, I'm saying get it popping. Let's get it, because it's inevitable. Dread it, run from it. It arrives all the same.
It arrives all the same.
That's right.
And I think it may have been doing more damage. Just the way they're handling this is terrible. It's terrible. Like nobody's that dumb. Dumb people aren't that dumb. You know what I mean? Like something's going on.
You think that, but no, because it just becomes mob mentality. And if you've gotten away with it for so long, I've busted people doing some of the dumbest shit ever. What were you thinking? Like you just weren't. You've gotten away with it at every single level. Why not take it one more step? And then it's like, did you think you were never going to get caught? So
and they all have this laissez-faire attitude about it too, as if they were never going to be caught. And when you have so many people in different levels of power involved.
Yeah, and this could have been going on for decades. He could have inherited this, and now that he's gone, somebody else has an island or a mansion or a nightclub or something. Like, just because that particular store is closed doesn't mean there aren't still customers out there.
That's right. As long as there's a market, there's a product.
And if it's this big, and let's be real, when you have one of the sons of the Queen, you have people of the royal family, you have members of Congress, you have members of the Parliament in Canada and England that showed up. This is we said it was apples and oranges on the last show, but it is pretty close. Lucky Luciano getting all those local New York politicians and stuff to come to his cat house. Taking pictures of them. Hey, Mayor such and such. I just want to give you a picture for your going home present. Make sure that those ports are clear of cops when, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same type of thing. Like, it's old school blackmail.
Yeah. And you can't use those.
And everybody's got to be.
Because it doesn't move anybody. Infidelity,
This
even
is what
homosexual
this is what we're
relationships.
talking about the other day.
It doesn't faze people. But if I catch
In the 60s, that would galvanize the public.
Oh, I got you. Because everybody cares about that.
There's been congressmen that are sitting right now that have had homosexual relationships, extramarital relationships. Well, what's his name? Former Speaker of the House with the 17-year-old, like a girl he adopted or something, or it was his adopted sister. I forget, Matt Gaetz. I forget how it went. But it was some controversial, weird stuff that he had with some young girl. You know, she's of age now, but it just looked bad. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you're messing with kids. Like,
yeah, but
no,
actually,
that dog don't hunt.
Matt Gaetz' story about how like they really try, for whatever reason, they really want him like out of the way. There was a lot to that story that I mean, they tried to blackmail his family and do all kinds of crazy shit. So
he's one of
they picked. He was the golden boy. Say it again, brother. You broke up.
I'm sorry. He's one of like the 35 members of Congress who have not received campaign contributions from AIPAC. You're talking about 335 between Democrat and Republican, and I didn't even factor in the independents. There's only 435 members of Congress. 335 between just Democrat and Republican that took $87,000 apiece from AIPAC. Matt Gaetz is not one of them. You understand how incestuous this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that's what's so crazy, because it was supposed to be America first. Like, no,
it's MIGA. Make Israel great again. That's what it is. It's MIGA.
That's wild. I mean,
it really is. It's scary to me. You know what I mean? Like
you've
that.
Got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff that they're just like, we're not playing that. And I mean, we'll see what happens to her, but.
Well, what about your girl, Candace Owens? And my bad, Candace Owens and who was it, bro? They're threatening to like seize their funds and stuff for like speaking out against Israel and their politics, not against an individual. Tucker Carlson,
yeah.
There's a dude who's actively in government right now saying that we can't kill them, but we can seize their assets. He's going on the news and saying this.
Sure. Well, I mean, Candace Owens is being sued right now by Bridget Macaron because she called out the fact that she's a dude.
She better be able to prove that.
Listen, if you haven't watched, it's a 5-part series, and if you haven't watched it, you really should. She comes with the receipts, and
Candace Owens does?
Sure.
Yes, she does a fantastic job. Oh yeah, she does a fantastic job digging through all kinds of familiar records, and she really does.
So she blew it up. She actually blew it out of the water then, and they're mad about it.
No, there was a French journalist. I'm going to get it wrong, but there was a French journalist that came out with a book, and that was just sort of like the beginning of this rabbit hole for her, where she was like, "This, how come everybody's not talking about this?" And so then she really dove into it. She interviewed the guy, I think well into her series. And then, so anyway, she comes out with all this evidence. She talks to that guy who had his other evidence. And then she gets a call from somebody at the White House that says, "Hey, listen, you and I know each other. Can you just knock it off with the whole Bridget Macron thing? Like, he's in town, and apparently he's come to talk to Trump about you talking about his wife." And she was like, "I don't even believe you. Like, that can't even be." And then she gets a call from Trump that's like, "Hey, hi, yeah. So I'm in the middle of peace talks and stuff, but now he wants to talk about your journalism with talking about Bridget. Can you just maybe stop?" And
see, that's the part I came in on, where Trump personally asked her to kind of, right. Apparently he did the Trump thing. He praised her. He's like, "Oh, you got great journalism, but Miss Macron, we're in a weird relationship there. Why don't you just ease off over for a minute?"
Right, but Candace was awesome, and she said, "Well, I'll give you some time, but this story isn't going away." So she is such a honey
She's a
badger.
scalp taker.
I really love her.
Yeah.
So
I do too.
she says, hey, I'll give you some time. And I don't know if it was like, because I think this call was in February, if I'm remembering correctly. And so she says, I'll give you 6 months, or I'll give you, whatever it is up until the peace talks are done, or this is signed, or whatever.
And the whole time she's probably piling up stuff. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And first, they wrote her a big, like, cease and desist letter. And so she wrote back and she was like, hi, glad to hear from you. So if you could just answer these questions for me. Have you ever gone by this name? And who's this person in this photo? And who is this? And why does this record say that? And did you physically give birth to your 3 children? And just basic questions. And they refused to answer any of them. And so one of the things, and Candace really has a point that, first of all, you're suing us, but we have First Amendment right. And so just
That's
because
exactly
your
right.
country might not, you can screw off with that, because I'm allowed to say what I want if I feel it. And when she's giving her opinion and releasing facts, you can't really dispute both of those. The thing with
that's the part I didn't understand about this whole thing. She's a part of the press, freedom of press. How can they sue her?
But even beyond that, you're allowed to have an opinion as anyone.
Right.
But when they talk about, because first Bridget McCrone sued for cyberbullying and sued, I believe it was the guy who did the initial book to let everybody know, and sued him for cyberbullying and really tried to get him all wrapped up in the courts. And it might not have been him, there might have been somebody else. And then they got this crisis PR team to try to fight it. And that really is going to end up screwing them, because Candace is no joke. She doesn't.
She's a bulldog, yeah.
Yeah. And she's very measured. And so the problem is that you have to prove that Candace knowingly gave false information. It's
Right.
not enough to say, I believe that DDoS is Bigfoot, and it's based off of this information.
Right.
I'd have to know that you weren't and be trying to slander you anyway.
And that's the thing where it's crazy. You have to prove that she's maliciously doing it. She's, and I mean, you can't. She's a part of the press.
And that you didn't give them any opportunity to refute it. And Candace was very open with, here are the questions that I sent them. They can't even send me a picture of her in high school, a picture of her holding one of her children.
It doesn't exist.
As a mother.
Well, and you
tell you, I've just seen I've had a preliminary.
One of our journalists.
What, Red Pill Preacher?
Yeah.
I said, so that's irrelevant anyway, because those laws only exist citizen against citizen. She's in a whole nother damn country. I can say
that part's wild.
I can say Kim Jong-un wears a dress all day long, and I can prove it. So
and being a public figure,
what Big Mac over there in France says.
Listen. This is where I'm at with it, because I've just done a preliminary viewing of all the information that y'all are talking about, bro. Red Pill, and I know, and God knows, that's a man, baby. That's a man. I've seen so many pictures, and I'm not being vulgar. My sister's out there, but I've seen so many pictures of this woman's package just dangling out there. I honestly thought, bro, that it was, until recently, I thought it was common knowledge that this was a transsexual or female or whatever is, politically correct to say these days. Because, I mean, I've seen multiple pictures of Macron kissing men in the mouth. Not that France, how you doing type stuff, or the Italian mafia, kissing them in the mouth and embracing them and stuff. So when I saw this, I was like, why is this even a thing? I thought he was the first president to be married to a transsexual. No,
he's not. The second.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I thought he was out with it though, bro, because it's more obvious than it is with Michelle Obama.
Yeah, but so it goes darker than that, because when they met, she was allegedly some like gorgeous Christy Brinkley, like 45-year-old teacher. And he was this 14-year-old boy that she saw in a play.
Yeah.
And so
she's
it's
72 years old.
It's not even just the trans issue. What the fuck? And
yeah, it keeps going back to that old.
Yeah.
Keeps going back to that old, them liking them little kids.
One of the two. Can't have it both ways.
One of the two.
She's either a transvestite or a pedophile. One of the two.
Or both.
Or both.
Or both. God, these people are sick, bro.
Yeah.
They're sick. They're sick.
Like if I had my little Scantron test, I'd be circling option C right now. Probably both.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah, but it's even crazier than that, because she goes deep into it, and it's not even just that Candace is saying that she's a dude, but that she's saying that there was a Bridget McCrone, and the older brother is now pretending to be Bridget McCrone, and the older brother is even older than 72.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, so if you look at, there's a family photo that you see a lot of them.
I gotta see this.
And the boy's got glasses on, and the little girl's in the lap of somebody in the family, and the boy is standing off to the right of the photo. And the boy looks like her. I mean, when I look at my sister, I see elements of my brother, and, like we're related. When I look at their kids, my brother's kids look exactly like my brother when he was a little boy. And so there is familial variances, but like they didn't look alike. But when they put them into, and it's tricky when you wear glasses, but when they put them into facial recognition software, they said that Bridget McCrone matches the brother and not the daughter. So that was.
I'm looking at a picture right now, guys. I don't know. This may be a lady. This may just. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy. But then you got to refute all those other pictures where he's got a package. So never mind.
Okay, but then the other thing is that where is Bridget McCrone's brother?
Yeah,
you know where.
Produce the brother.
Gone the way of us Christians call it gone the way of all flesh.
Well. He's not.
Or the man in the iron mask or something. Yeah, the girl in the iron mask.
Yeah, but okay, look at a picture of Bridget McCrone's hands.
All right, hold on. Where's this?
Now I know that
palm of spalding basketball.
Let's see. There we go. Can y'all still see?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, here's the family.
Okay, yeah. So this picture of the family is juxtaposed, but basically they're saying that the boy in the plaid on the very left-hand side matched with Bridget McCrone now.
Okay.
That's Bridget McCrone with the plaid shirt on. And
I mean, looking at this picture, this is weird. Like if you look at the jaw lines. So hold on. So this one, the dude on the left, the kid on the left, that's the older brother that's pretending to be the.
This is what they're saying is that something happened to the real Bridget McCrone, the little girl that's sitting there, Bridget Trogneau, whatever their name was, and so.
Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah.
But they're saying that she was like the sexiest thing, and like she wasn't.
I mean, yeah, this is her like when she was a teacher. I mean,
yes.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
That's already the brother that has, and like this has gone on with not just this, but there's a lot of celebrities that. There was that whole Beyonce sort of scandal where she went to go sit down with a fake belly bump.
Oh, and it was a pillow? Yeah.
And that,
here we go.
Yeah, so that's the boy.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes. Like everything, man. Even the laugh lines, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
So they're
I don't
the evidence that they're putting out, and I watched it. I didn't know I was going to be quizzed on it, but I watched all of Candace's stuff. But essentially, Candace said, "Give us any evidence that your brother still exists," and they gave a driver's license application or something to that effect, the French version of it. The same day, I think it was a voter registration, now that I'm thinking about it, the same day that Bridget Macron across town was registering to vote. And like, that's their evidence that there's like two different people. Like,
If it's simple, is he alive or dead? Just produce the brother.
hey, where is he? You're the freaking queen or whatever the hell you are. Where's your brother? How come he's not in pictures with you? Why
yeah,
is
bring
he
him up,
dinner?
bring him in a press conference and
Where
talk
is
about
he
Candace like a dog.
at your grand ball? Like, where is he? He's your brother.
That's lunacy. You know,
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, people. Yeah, pay no attention to that man behind that curtain. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is wild, and it's just like, yeah, don't look at the man behind the curtain, like literally.
Well,
Don't look at the
I'm going
man
to tell you
behind the
something
statue.
from religious history. All right, like in the ancient times in Babylon, Mesopotamia, at these temples, it was customary for the priests to engage in cross-dressing, and some would even castrate themselves. And they say that this is a part of this trend of like these powerful men being with these transsexual women, because they're a part of all that old school Babylonian Satan worship, basically. I don't know, but that lady's a dude. That picture of the little kid, I guess that's him when he was a little boy, and then like, yeah. And I'm like you, there was never a point in time where that dude was a beautiful woman. What's France got going on?
And even if she was, you're 45 and he's 14, and nobody is concerned about that.
Yeah.
Like,
It looks like the Grinch
you think
comic.
he was 15. Is that any better? Like,
No.
She had been married and had kids, and then she's got this like 15-year-old coming over. What the hell?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And
Well,
so
and they have kids
ignoring
together,
the-
right? Like daughters together. So she had these kids when she was in her
No, those
late
kids.
50s.
Yeah, and so, gosh, there's more to it, but essentially, those kids aren't his kids. They're pre-existing kids from another marriage. There's no pictures of her pregnant, and the only one that has come out to back Bridget Macron, the only kid, is the youngest. But the youngest kid would have been too young to know the uncle. So that means that maybe they don't know that this is the uncle is their mom and not the real Bridget Macron.
That's crazy.
I don't mean to like make your mind stop.
This you've gotten me all. I'm sorry. You've gotten me into this thing now. This is a giant rabbit hole, bro. Mr. Macron was 15 years old when he fell for his married drama teacher, Bridget
Yeah, but
Azari.
it was 14.
Then 40.
They started
Yep.
at 16 and then they were like, oh, 15. But the play that she talks about, that she went and was like, fell in love with him and just thought he was great, happened when he was 14, according to Candace. She's dug in, she's done her shit, and she says 14.
And she was 40 years old? That's madness.
So
At the Catholic
Didn't the
Providence
Bible
School in
send the
early
boy to-
1990s. T-Pain's
The father
older
sent the
sister,
boy to
Lawrence,
marry-
was the future French president's classmate. T-Pain, so one of his classmates is writing a book on him. Wow, this is a train gone off the rails, bro.
yeah, it really is. And so it's not even just like a trans. I mean, I grew up in Hollywood. I really don't care. Whatever you want to wear, whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Everybody's life there's to live.
Then it just gets like darker and weirder, and there's so much more to it. So like Macron took this like stately photo, and it's all very like posed and everything. And there's a book that's on this desk, you know, like, because I'm so studious and you know how like you pose shit. Well, the book is a book about like man boy love, or from some author that did some dirty shit. Yes, it's like they're not even hiding it. Like, what? Why would you have Cat in the Hat? Like, just have a book. Like, don't. Yeah. It's like they're flaunting it. So I don't. It's wild to me, but Candace has done an exhaustive expose on it. And
well, I know what I'm binge watching tonight.
Yes, you got to start at the beginning. It's tasty. It's real dark.
Yeah, this sounds like craziness. So, old Macron, and what's his face up there in Canada too? He's got some real squirrely, weird stuff going on. Oh, Fidel Castro's bastard son.
Yeah.
Well, we're at our hour, Miss Molly. You have an open invitation to come back anytime. You're cut from our cloth. I hope you had fun, because we did.
Totally
absolutely.
Did. You guys need to come and stir up some shit on my channel too. So. Oh,
you know we'll do it.
Well, anytime.
That's what a good time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Late Show. Check out Molly Sleuth's channel. Her channel link is in the description box below. Make sure you go check out her videos, hit like on them, help her channel grow. And thank you guys for coming out tonight. Y'all have been a great audience. And we'll see you next time on The Late Show. God bless each and every last one of y'all. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Baby, I'm a gangster too.
Whoops.
Baby, I'm a gangster too. It takes one tango. Baby, I'm a gangster too.
He said, I am the first and the last. That simply means that it all started with him. It'll all consummate with him. Everything that has to do with humanity and creation started with the Lord Jesus Christ. He said, I am the first and the last, thank God. He said, I am all the one that started it all. I'll be the one that ends it all. It was all made by me and for me. And without me, not anything was made that was made. In Revelation chapter number 1, he said, I am he that liveth and was dead. And he said, behold, I'm alive forevermore. Hallelujah. A lot of you like to keep him on the cross. Some of you like to keep him in the grave. Some of you like to get rid of him if you could. Wipe his name from the history books. But you can't do it, I'm sorry. He's more alive than anybody that ever wrote a history book. He lives today. You see, my friend, these first century Christians were literally being burned at the stake. They were suffering horrible torture and pain for their faith in Jesus Christ. The Apostle Peter said, and think it not strange concerning the fiery trial that shall try you,